Lazurus, episode 7, Almost Blue. We finally get some more information on some of these mysterious characters. So let's talk about it. All right, so welcome back, Variant. So Lazarus. You wonder why it's got the name Lazarus? Well, we get that information in here. More or less, what it's coming down to as far as the world ending. So let's get into it. First, we got Axel and crew. They're still trying to figure out because all their leads have just been kind of one-offs to one area. They check it out, and then they're back at square one. Nothing much else to go on. All right. He's trying to, light a barbecue with a flamethrower. And in that process, they just kind of speculate about each other's age, how old each of the characters are. We find out that Axel is 23, and apparently Doug is 23 as well, even though Chris thought Doug was 40. So he feels some type of way about that. Leland is 16, and Chris refused to answer, even though Leland makes a guess and causes her to hesitate for a second, which leads us to believe she's possibly in her mid 30s somewhere. So now you know a little bit more about the characters in terms of age. Uh, they've been doing whatever they've been doing for a while, or either very young off, or Chris being the most seasoned out of everybody, possibly. Don't really know. But we also find out that the ice cap, the final ice cap in the North Pole, has melted and crumbled. And the day that they find this out is actually 3 years to the day that Skinner predicted this would happen. So they're like, something's up with that. So let's go check out his video that he sent and so that and see if we can find any more clues, see if something else stands out or makes more sense. After finding out that he prophesized this, more or less, and they're sitting there listening to the whole video, they find out where he talks about blowing the seventh trumpet. And it's kind of like, okay, what's that? It's a biblical reference. So it's like, okay, now we're thinking about the biblical reference, Lazarus, all this stuff's kind of coming together. So the book of Revelations in the New Testament, you have the angels when basically the world's coming to an end, the angels sounded the trumpet and more this destruction follows. So after each trumpet sounded, some kind of destructive act followed. So when that seventh one rang out, that was the one that finished off everything. So he's basically sounding that, with everyone who's taken Hafna, whatever, like this will be the end all be all of humans. So you got to show that you're worth keeping around, more or less. So it's like, okay. It was like, who caused the other six trumpets to blow? Like, where'd they come from? So it's neither here nor there at this point. It's like, if he says he's the seventh ring, this is the final one before stuff goes, you know, belly up. So they got to figure it out fast. Again, we're sitting at about 15 days. So what ends up happening is we actually cut to another scene where we see a boat, and this boat has this mercenary looking lady, blonde, short blonde hair, and they're heading out on a boat. Don't know why, but they're heading out, and they got a time schedule to keep. While that's happening, we cut back to the team, and we see Naga has a dying message, which turns out to be some numbers. They check it for running it through a computer algorithm. They call it as a phone number. Come to find out, it's actually GPS coordinates, and there's GPS coordinates for 4 different locations. So the crew's like, "Yo, we got to split up and check out these locations because apparently Skinner, we find out, bought land at each of these locations before the islands that were there have sunk into the ocean. So there's nothing there. It's just ocean. But there were islands there that Skinner had bought land to. So it's like, okay, well, there's got to be something to it. Let's go check it out. So they head to each of the locations. So they split up 4 locations, 4 people, split up and figure it out. You got Chris. Chris ends up buying a $75,000 electric boat and just straight up purchases it and says, "All right, I'm heading out," and goes to where she's going, which is Tuvalu. Then we got Elena, who is setting up to prep and watch all the screens. And she's got a whole smorgasbord set up. She's got snacks and everything. She's just watching everybody. Axel charters a boat to the Maldives to go check that one out. Doug is got a pilot and he's flying over the Santa Maria River. And Leland ends up paying for a trip and leaves out of Ishigaki Island, heading to Takatomi Island. So they each get to their respective locations. They start checking stuff out. We get nothing from Leland. Doug comes up short. Chris was unable to find anything, but she does see a boat kind of fly by, and the wake shakes her boat, which it looks like it was those little mercenary kind of one she saw earlier. And then Axel finds nothing at his location either. But when he comes back up, he sees that his boat captain has a cut on his face. So he's like, "What happened to your face?" "Oh, it's like flying fish came out the water and hit me, or whatever the case may be." And we find out that the boat captain has a very specific condition called anal was it analgesia. It's a condition to where you don't feel pain. So when the fish came out and hit him, he just shrugged it off, whatever, but he got cut. So because he doesn't feel pain, he didn't notice it. He's carrying on about his business. So as we start digging, we find out apparently Skinner had done some time and visited all these different islands probably at some point when he bought the land. But this one specifically, he found and bought, and it looks like this is probably where he derived Hopna from, because Hopna makes you feel no pain. So this entire island was a bunch of people that had this same condition. And Skinner came in and basically bought the island and gave them all money to start their new lives, to do whatever it is that they wanted to do. And when he bought the island, it's like honestly, he may have just studied the people, kept some people for research, experiments, whatever, checked the animals, whatever the case may be. It could be anything. But he used them to possibly research his Hopna and create the drug. Completely viable, makes sense, possibly something that could have happened. So now we got to look more into that. So now they're trying to find out where the money came from that purchased said island. So they're trying to see if they can backtrack stuff. So I was like, hmm. So while they're backtracking everything and they're looking at different things of who was where, we come to find out we see Hirsch, who is talking with her big, big baldy boss and stuff like that, freaking and trying to figure out what's going on. But she said something very interesting. It was like, I need to know why he left, like why he did what he did. Like, freaking, I need answers. And we found out that Hirsch was part of the research staff at one of the locations that Skinner was at. So she's looking for Skinner in terms of, I need to know where he's at and why he left and didn't like apparently tell her or talk to her or whatever the case may be. That's why she brought freaking Lazurus team together, because Lazurus is the whole raised from the dead kind of thing. So now it all comes together. It makes sense. So we know Hirsch, who had some shady deals, and I said this before. Like, who is Hirsch working for? Who's she dealing with? What is the freaking plan that she's got? Because you don't just bring everybody together without having some kind of ulterior motive. You got something on your mind. And looking at you, Nick Fury, same difference. So we got to wait and see and find out what happens with the next episode, because they are now down to 14 days left and the team knows that Hirsch is involved. So how are they going to confront Hirsch and talk to her, or are they going to keep it under the radar and continue trekking forward using her resources to figure out whatever else needs to happen as far as finding Skinner, because he needs to be found ASAP. Otherwise, everything's going to go to crap real fast. So please hit the love or subscribe button so freaking this channel doesn't go to crap. We want to keep you guys around. We want to keep us around doing all these fun little reviews and stuff, and talking about the content. So I appreciate you guys. Hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Later.